Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel of part 2 of brain aneurysm survival, my story. Listen, this is Tuesday, May 12th, 2020. Like I said in my part 1 video, I had just arrived at the hospital and they were wheeling me down the hall, getting ready to take me to the intensive care unit. When I saw my husband and my daughter standing in the hall, and when I spoke about it last video, that she said, "Mom, what are you doing?" I mean, it was like I didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't have an answer for her. Plus, I was kind of blacking in and out, so I was wondering what in the world I was doing. So anyway, they wheeled me back to the intensive care unit, like I said before, and they began to say, "We need to get her blood pressure taken." I don't remember the number it was, but I do remember them saying it was extremely high. They told they were speaking to one another, and they were saying, "We need to get tests run so we can see what's going on in her brain." The first test I remember, and I speak about this in my book, is the CAT scan. And when they took the test on my brain for the CAT scan, they didn't find exactly what they were looking for. I guess it didn't tell them all they needed. So they suggested that I take another test, which is called an MRI. I did go in for the testing of the MRI, and again, that one didn't tell them all that they wanted. I think they were speculating an aneurysm, but they wanted to be for sure. So the last test that they took that I remember is an angiogram, and all I could do was just keep saying to myself, I hope that they find something this time, because it seemed like hours they kept wheeling me in and out of elevators and going down. I remember going down in the basement and up and down the elevators on this gurney, trying to find out what was going on. So after they took this angiogram, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about an angiogram as far as what I remember reading about it. It is where the doctor inserts a catheter into the groin area, and this catheter is injected with dye where they can take an x-ray or pictures of what's going on the damage that's done in whatever part of the body. In my case, it was my brain. So therefore, after this was done, they were able to determine for sure that I had a ruptured brain aneurysm. I tell you, it kind of took me for a loop because I wasn't ready for that report. After which, I went back down, they wheeled me back down to the ICU, where they introduced me to, I was told afterwards that he was one of the finest doctors in the hospital, Dr. Patrick Hahn. When he introduced himself to me, I just felt real comfortable because he had such a kind spirit. I talk about this again in my book, and I felt real comfortable putting my life in his hands. My family told me later, I don't remember this, but I was given probably 50% chance for survival and going back to the way I was before the operation. To try to alleviate some of the stress and the tension in the room, I kiddingly asked him, "Are you going to have to cut my hair?" And he looked at me and was like, "Yes, ma'am, I'm going to have to cut your hair, but it will grow back." I was joking, but on the other side of that, I knew that I was in deep trouble, because if I didn't experience a miracle, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. So my family began to call different ones. I remember family and friends telling them to pray for me. I didn't know this, but they were very, very, very nervous. My daughter and everyone was crying in the waiting area. They told me this later. I can't say that I was fearful, because I didn't, like I said, I don't really remember what happened. I was kind of in and out of consciousness, but I did know that something major was about to happen to me. My doctor assured me that everything would be okay, and he assured my family that everything was going to go all right. He said, "I'm going to be able to take you in for your surgery in the morning." And I believe he said that it was going to take initially about 2 hours. Well, it ended up taking about 6 hours total. All I can remember when they wheeled me into that operating room was the little nurse said, "Ms. McClellan, we're going to sedate you, and after that, I want you to start counting backwards, starting at 10. And that's all I remember. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to continue with my story in part 3. comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you. See you next time.